and a good friend of Top Story. Bertha, it's great to see you tonight. So talk to us first about this book that everyone's talking about, right? It's been getting a lot of attention, and some of the words inscribed on the bullets are similar to the title. What do we know about this, right? It's called Delay, Deny, Defend, and people have started to talk about this because it's a book about the healthcare industry.
It's a book about insurance overall, Tom. It was written by a retired law professor, Jay Feinman, back in 2010. In it, he talks about what essentially has become a business strategy, according to him, in the insurance industry overall. He says, quote, the company delays payment of a claim, denies all or part of a valid claim, or aggressively defends litigation that the policyholder is forced to bring in order to get that claim. Now, the book centers a lot on property insurers, but this issue of claims being denied is an increasingly hot-button issue when it comes to healthcare. It's one that doctors complain about because they have to file approvals. They get denied. It's created a lot of stress in the healthcare industry. Back in October, a Senate subcommittee on investigations issued a scathing report detailing mounting denials by Medicare Advantage players when it comes to nursing home and rehab care. Between 2019 and 2022, they said the rate of denials went from about 8.5% to nearly 23%. Yeah. And the report cites the big three in Medicare, Aetna, Humana, and UnitedHealth. Critics say a lot of those denials are increasing because of AI algorithms. In fact, we saw a couple of class action suits filed last year, one of them against Cigna, one of them against UnitedHealth's employer healthcare unit, UMR, on that very issue.
Bertha, you know, we've seen an outpouring along these lines of what you're saying, an outpouring of hate online following the shooting. I want to pull up a graphic. Look at this. Out of 53 reactions to the official post about Thompson's murder from UnitedHealth Group, 48,000 are laughing reactions compared to just around 4,000 sad and heart reactions. And now take a look at this. There were thousands of posts across social media glorifying the incident, garnering 8.3 million views, 180,000 likes, and more than 24,000 retweets to a murder in cold blood. My question is this type of animosity normal? And do healthcare executives in the insurance industry receive threats often?
You know, I was talking with corporate security folks today, one of them from Kroll, who says that overall for executives that they all are increasingly receiving threats. And in healthcare, certainly that is true. We've seen instances of violence erupt in hospitals against hospital workers when people get very upset about care for their loved ones at times. Increasingly, insurers are starting to feel that ire again because of this issue of denial of care. But the fact that we've seen this murder happen certainly has pushed all of this into a whole new realm. And I can tell you that security officials say a number of companies are now reaching out about security for their executives because publicly traded companies like this one publish their events. This was an event happening in Midtown Manhattan. It was an investor conference. It was public. People knew it was happening yesterday. And so when these events are published, as they must be for publicly traded companies, it creates more of a security risk that a lot of companies are now looking at much more closely.
Bertha, before you go, a lot of people have been tracking this other headline the last 24 hours. The healthcare company Anthem, Blue Cross, is moving away from a policy to limit the amount of anesthesia they would cover in surgeries. This broke yesterday. This comes after a lot of pushback from affected states and doctors, even from the American Society of Anesthesiologists. Could we see healthcare companies continue to move away from unfavorable policies like this because of what we just witnessed in New York City?
You know, it's a fascinating question. They're certainly under a lot of pressure over these issues in a regulatory sense, and not just over the health insurance companies, but a lot of these really big insurers like Aetna, which is part of CVS Health, UnitedHealth. They also deal with pharmacy benefits. And as you know, those are called PBMs, pharmacy benefit managers. And those have been one area that has also been scrutinized a lot by regulators regulators and under a lot of pressure as to claims that they contribute to the rising costs of drugs. So we are seeing a lot of pressure on these companies on a regulatory front. And in some cases, they are changing their business models to deal with these regulatory pressures. Certainly, the shocking nature of what has happened here in New York City with this executive is giving a lot of people pause and will certainly ratchet up the discussions about their business practices.
Bertha Coombs, we thank you so much for joining Top Story. Learned a lot tonight.